So history has left us with a lot of interesting places that are the result of an eccentric person who has a fortune and decides to build something a little different. So we are in Somerset Center, Michigan at the McCourtie Park to explore something that's called faux bois, and it means fake wood. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
The channel's Restless Viking. Let's go explore these eccentricities.
Eccentricities?
Or eccentricities. So over there is Highway 12, US 12. The story goes that during Prohibition that the revenuers, if they were chasing a member of the gang, would drive around through the gates that we came in, and then they would come down this driveway, and then they would park in the garage, which was over there, and there was some garage over there. And then they would just hang out there, and the revenuers didn't know where they went. You can't see this or notice it from the road, the Rathskeller. And the Rathskeller for the fireplace, this is actually a concrete chimney for the Rathskeller and for the fireplace, and then over here was for the furnace. Then you can see some of the stacks and ventilation pipes that come up here.
I mean, the detail that got into making this is incredible.
When we arrived at the park, it was humming with volunteers who were cleaning up tornado damage from just a couple days before. Terry, one of the volunteers and past president of the caretaker group, invited us to the Rathskeller to show us around. It looks great, though.
2 garages.
Okay.
This is the only room that had a wood wall down the middle.
In 1924, William Herbert Lee McCourtie started transforming his family's 42-acre farm into what he called Aiden's Lair. Herb spent $500,000, about $8.5 million in today's dollars. McCourtie had made a fortune in oil while in Texas in the early 1900s, and he made a more stable income in cement around Somerset. Are these original paintings too?
Yes, they are original paintings, and as you can see, somebody spilled ketchup.
And then this is brass, you were saying?
That's all brass, and the sink underneath is new now, but we can use it.
So you're saying that there was a room back here,
There's a room back
and it accesses from the outside, basically a hole in the ground that comes down, and they used to deliver the booze there, and then they would tap it over there.
That's what we figured.
It would come in here, and then they could serve it, but if the revenuers came in, they're not gonna see.
They never came here.
Yeah, that's true, it's private, so.
It's private, and he had it paint.
There was a mansion on the farm with a ballroom and a dormitory-style guest room. And the Rathskeller was apparently a haven for gangsters bootlegging whiskey from Detroit to Chicago. I haven't found any solid evidence of this, but you rarely do when you research local Prohibition history. But the features that draw people to McCourtie Park today were built by 2 itinerant Mexican immigrants hired by McCourtie. So this is the pump that used to pump all the water for this, which was the swimming pool, and then over there was the trout pond. And they've been working really hard on the Rathskeller to get it modernized a little bit, but to still keep some of its original character. George Cardozo and Ralph Corona built 17 bridges using a technique called trabajo rustico. The swimming pool, the trout pond, 17 concrete bridges. So there's an art form back in the time, and the French called it faux bois, which means false wood. Trabajo rustico, which I guess these immigrants had some
Rustic work.
They were from Mexico, and they had some experience. So this is concrete. Looks a lot like wood. You can tell this is one of the bridges that goes to nowhere. But very interesting. And Cardozo and Corona actually learned from the head guy Rodriguez in Texas, the guy I guess that was the master of this art form. And you can see the bridges all along the creek. And we're about to cross another one.
So Terry was telling us that the workers would stay here, eat here, shower here. It had a natural spring and a well right in the middle of the cabin.
And the well actually drew from the springs because the spring water would just naturally come into the pit, and then it would pump the water to the fish pond and the swimming pool and whatever else they needed it for. So the concrete covered bridge is probably the most popular bridge, most famous bridge here at McCourtie's Park. And it's pretty cool. You can see the thatched roof, even the axe marks. Used to be a light here. This is pretty amazing, the craftsmanship that went into that.
So as legend says, the Blue Lady, a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothes, a ghost of a lady, appears here at dusk and at dawn.
It's a really interesting feature, and in Michigan, purple martins are kind of a popular bird because you can build martin houses, and they're prevalent all over the Great Lakes. And McCourtie actually built a birdhouse, 2 of them, at a cost of $2,200, which would be about $30,000 today. He built a couple birdhouses. And here's one of them. It has hidden rooms and private hallways and all manner of curiosity. But that, my friends, is an insane birdhouse. The other one's gone, but that's a concrete birdhouse. So those that look like rotted boards on the bottom are actually concrete. The steel post holding up tons of concrete. And it's kind of crazy to be fully in the shadow of a birdhouse. It's full shade right here. Lots of room in the shadow of a birdhouse. So just up the hill from Goose Creek are some tennis courts, a sporting complex, so to speak. But this used to be a horse racetrack. And in fact, in 1930, I guess a horse from here that was raised here and trained here won the Kentucky Derby. Soon after the estate was finished, the Great Depression took hold of the nation. And while McCourtie had a reputation of hanging with gangsters, he was a generous man. He threw lavish parties for the locals and willingly shared his estate. He even kept an open tab at the hardware store so locals could buy paint for their houses. And he paid that tab every month. I mean, wow, literally, they thought of every type of bridge to make out of concrete. Every false wood bridge that has fake nails in it. That is some crazy good workmanship.
Wow.
Look at that detail. Designed and built by R.L. Corona. 1933, restored by Melinda Stump. La Presto, 2001. That's concrete. That's crazy. So this sagging suspension bridge is by far my favorite. So there you are, McCourtie's Park in Somerset Center, Michigan. Very interesting and obscure history. They're still cleaning up the storm damage, but I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
The channel's Restless Viking. You magnificent people, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.